Hello again, Sharon from Mad Paper Crush here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be working in my altered book junk journal planner again. And today I'm going to be doing my wrap up for January and my cover page for February. So I'll just kind of give you a little bit, a sneak peek of how it's going to look. We're going to go ahead and put this together. And I'm going to have my January in review with a little card over here and some tuck spots to hold it in. And then my February cover page, which has some collage and some quotes on it. So let's go ahead and get this going. All right, so the things that I'm using for today are, of course, my journal that has my planner stuff already in it. And then I've just kind of pulled out some papers that I thought I might use to do the wrap up and then also my cover page for February. I don't know that I will specifically be using all of these, but I just pulled some things out to kind of get myself going. So I often find that when I create, things in my mind change, the things that I want to do. So this is what I'm going to start with. So I just have some leftover kind of planning papers there. I have some pieces from my Crisp Winter kit that I thought I would use for my January wrap up possibly. And then I pulled out some ledger pages that I thought would be fun to kind of, since I'm going to be using something to wrap up January, the cold month, and come into February, the Valentine month. I pulled out some ledger pages and I thought maybe I'd use these as the backgrounds for both sides just to bring some, cohesiveness to the two. So we'll see how that goes. I'm just going to kind of play it by ear. And I don't mind that, my left side looks completely different from my right side, especially because it, definitely gives that distinction between the months. So it's showing that this is the end of January, this is the beginning of February. So I'm okay if they look, very different, but I thought it would be fun to at least have one piece that's sort of cohesive between the two sides. And then I also just pulled out some pieces from my Letters of Verona kit that I have here. Oop, that goes with that. So I have like this label I thought might be fun to use for, to put February on. And then I have some stamps and just some scrap pieces here. And then I thought I would use possibly this one or this one to sort of either put a quote on or something like that. So we'll have to, like I said, we're going to just basically play it by ear, but I do like to kind of pull things out as in the beginning to kind of get me started. This is sort of, so I'm not working with a blank page, so to speak. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, so I've got my journal. I've got my ledger pages that I think I'm going to use for my base. So when I come in here to my calendar, on the last page before, this is where I'm going to start my January wrap up and do my February cover page. I have my calendar clip, so we're going to need to take that off. And if you haven't gotten, I have a little freebie of these 2021 calendar clips. They are just little tiny calendars that you can fold and put together to use as an altered paper clip in your own journals or your own planner there. And if you go to madpapercrush.com/2021 clips, and I'll link that down below, you can get a set of your very own. And I have them for all months. So as I was in January, I left my February one here. I'll probably keep this one, as I go through February, and then I'll get I have my March one in here somewhere that I will pull out and use, as I go through February to keep an eye on the future days. So this is all of the clips that you get there, and I kind of have them all folded down and just kept in this little baggie for now. So we're going to take that off because obviously I want to be able to move this clip around, so I don't want to put any paper or anything over it there. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these down to fit on either side. Now, when I do that, I am going to probably cut off the top. So I think I want something a little less distracting, than having the name of the hotel up here. So I'll probably start at the bottom and then make my marks, so that I know how much to cut off on either side here to kind of fill the sheet. And then I'll do the same thing over here. I'll kind of start with, I need to cut a little bit more off of this edge anyway, so I'm just going to put a little mark there because I want to cut that off. And then I hope I can see my paper good enough here. And then how far up am I going? I don't know. Let's see. How did I do this? I don't see my mark there. Huh. All right, well, I know I want to go up this high, but for some reason I can't find my mark over here. Maybe I didn't mark it. I don't know. I thought I did. I thought it was right here. All right, let me just do that to make sure I know what I'm doing here. Okay, so I have that marked, and then I need to mark the top of this. Oh, maybe that's what I did. Did I start it out at this edge? Oh, yes, I did. Look at that. Oh, my goodness. All right, let's try this again. So if we start here, we got that mark and that mark. And then, but I think I want this one to, I want this part of this side here. Ugh, if that makes any sense. Okay, so I'm just basically cutting down each of these sheets to give me about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch margin around the entire paper for the page. So, and like I said, I am going to cut off the top of that, which I'm fine with. Let's see, where did that go? Because I don't mind if the margin is a little bit bigger. My main concern is I'm not sure that's cut down enough. My main concern is that the paper that I'm putting down covers the words on this page, since the book ended up being upside down. So if you watched how I put this journal together, you would understand what happened there. My book is actually upside down, but you know, since I covered it, you can't tell. But I have to cover each of the book pages. Well, I don't have to. I want to cover the upside down book pages because I'll get confused. Easy enough for me, but I will get confused. Okay, so I have my 2 pages here, and then the other thing that I'm going to do, which I often like to do, is I am going to go ahead and distress around the edges of each of these pages. So when they go down, just because when you cut, there's, you know, kind of a white edge on the edge here, I like to distress to kind of take that part away. So I'm just going to speed this up and go ahead and do that real quick. All right, I have these all distressed. Let's go ahead and glue these down. And I'm just going to double check one more time before I put glue on everything to make sure that they kind of fit where I want them to fit. And this one, I think I might need to cut down a little bit more. Yeah, I think I'm going to, just to be on the safe side. So, and then I'll just have to re-distress that a little bit. But it looked like it was getting a little too close to the corner. And one thing that I have found is that if you are putting papers on like this, you want to watch how close you go to the corners, because with all the opening and the closing of the book, sometimes those edges that are on the inside towards the middle of your book, they'll tend to come up. So it's better to kind of keep them a little bit away from the edge of the page there. And I may need to, because I'm really struggling seeing the edge of this page, I may end up just putting one of these papers underneath here so that it'll be more clear to me where the end of that page is when I'm doing this. Yes, see, that's much better. Now I can really see where I'm going, because I do want this page to kind of be a little bit over more towards the edge there. Okay, so I love the way this is looking. I love having those 2 pages on there. And of course, we are going to cover them up a little bit, but I like this as a start. So I'm going to use my glitter glue here, and I'm going to try to keep it fairly, you know, thin and towards the edges, just to be sure I get the main pieces. And the reason I'm doing that is adding all this paper and glue and everything else can cause the book to be fatter than I want it to be. So I'm just going to do a teeny tiny bit in the middle there, but mostly the edges are done, which I want. Okay, now for this one, definitely want to make sure, I think I might be a little bit crooked there, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. All right, we'll do the same thing here. Keep it towards the edges. Just do a weeny bit in between. And make sure this one is towards the edge as well. Wipe my fingers off. Okay, now I love the way that's looking. And if I could leave it like that, I would, because I love that. All right, so let me pull out some of these papers here. We'll start with our January wrap up. And for my January wrap up, I just kind of want to, you know, put my thoughts about the month, you know, make sure I document anything important that happened, that kind of thing. So really, I just need a little space to, you know, write, to journal a little bit. So I don't know. I was thinking maybe I would use, you know, something like this, which actually I may still use something like this. So I was thinking the notes, I could do some bullet points, but I think that's a little much. And I really like this this postcard here that came in the Crisp Winter kit. So I think it might be fun to incorporate that somehow. Obviously I could write on top of that, but it probably would be hard to see. So I may make this kind of into a note card. I may back it with just some coffee dyed paper or an index card or something like that. So that I can, you know, put it in here as a flip or, you know, something like that. So we'll think about that one in just a minute. Or I could use this one. Or I could use both actually. So let me just see. Oh, I also have these tabs because I think it might be fun to, you know, put in January thoughts or January wrap up or, you know, something like that. On these tabs as well to kind of give me a starting piece. So let me just think about how I want to do that. Now I could also, you know, make a pocket maybe where I could, you know, put this in if I wanted to, or I think it might be fun to do like maybe just like corner pockets. I think that might be cool. So I could slip it down in there. So maybe just, I'm going to cut like a, let me try this and just see how it works. I don't know if it's going to do what I'm thinking in my mind, but I'm going to cut maybe a 2-inch square from my background paper here. So just simple 2-inch square. I got 2 inches there. And then I'll do 2 inches here. And I'm going to try and, you know, keep that paper as much as I can. Now I'm going to take this piece and I'm just going to cut it corner to corner so that I have 2 triangles that are the same size. So I'm just lining up my points of this square in my cutter here. And then I'll put the cutter in the middle to start so I don't bend my corners, and then go out from each side. So this is what I was thinking. So I was thinking I would put like a corner here, kind of like a tuck spot that you would do, any sort of tuck spot. And then one here. And then so when I put that in, I could have a little place to tuck this in. So I could do that, but I'm gonna have to be sure these are pretty far apart so that this will actually end up tucking inside of there. So I think I like that idea. I think that's fun, but it's definitely, we're definitely missing something up here that I need to do. So I think maybe what I'll do is I will just cut out a piece of also of this background to make a label for my, you know, January month in review. And I'm not sure I'm going to use this yet, but I need something here. So I think I'm going to do that now. What should I do? I think I want for this piece, I think it would be nice to have some of the snowflakes on there, since January was pretty cold here. Not as cold as some, I'm sure, but pretty cold for us. All right, and I think I'm gonna move this just about like that. Yeah, I think that might be nice. So then this will come out so you can turn it over and read my thoughts here. But then this piece will just be sort of my, you know, title, January in Review. So I think I'm going to round these corners. I think that would be fun. And then I'm going to go get some of my stamps out, and I will do some stamping on that for my January month in review. And we'll also make this into a note card by adding some backing to it so that I can write on it. Okay, I added a little bit of an index card to the back of this, which I like, and I just sewed around the edges to keep it together. And then I pulled out just some of these, I don't even know where I got them, but these old letter stamps, they kind of look like typewriter font, which I like. That looks more vintage to me. And then I pulled out some inks. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I started doing some testing. I thought I had a blue. I have a Broken China Distress ink, but I really don't like the way that looks with these blues. So I tried this pigment ink, this green that I have, and I thought it kind of matched the green in the pine trees. And while it's not perfect, you know, it's okay. I'm also just going to try this. This is a coffee. This archival ink is a coffee, the coffee color. So I'm just going to see if that one is more along the lines of what I'm looking for. And honestly, I think that it is. So I think I'm going to use the coffee, the archival ink coffee, to do my words on my paper here. And I'm just going to do, I'm going to do January in review, I think. I think that'll be plenty of letters for me to hopefully get all into the right order on here. So I'm just going to stamp them, and I like to stamp them. You could probably put two of these together on, you know, this to stamp and make it go a little bit faster. But I like to do them separate because I don't know if you can see this, but they have an outline around the actual letter. And so sometimes it's hard to get them as close as you might want them, the letters, when you're spacing them out. So I'm going to do them one at a time so that I can put them wherever I want. I can put them as close as I want. And then I can also sort of angle them. I like to sometimes make it look, you know, a little jumbly. So I'm going to see if I can get this whole thing to fit on here, January in review. So let's see, I'm going to start. I'm pretty thinking that January is going to be pretty long. And maybe what I want to do, let me grab I have my pencil out here somewhere. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little scrap piece of paper here. Just grab a scrap. And I'm going to write it out. I don't trust myself sometimes. So I'm going to do 3 lines, January, then in, then review. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for the center letter in January so that I can, you know, make sure that it's going to fit and fit the way that I want it to. So I think maybe I'm going to start with the U in January. And then since I have it written out, hopefully I won't get distracted enough to stamp the correct words next to each other. So I'm just gonna stamp the J off for a minute, and we're gonna start with the U in January, and that'll give us kind of our center point. And then I will stamp the other letters starting from the U on either side. You know, kind of go backwards for the NAJ and then forward for the ARY in January there. So I'm going to put this right in the middle. And I have to do 3 letters on each side. So I can kind of get an idea now that, you know, I need to, you know, kind of keep things together. So I'm going to start with the ARY for January. And then I'm just going to do each of the 3 letters. And then I'll do the same thing with the review down here as well. I'll start with the middle letter and go out from each side. And actually this one's an even numbered word, even number of letters in the word. So I'll have to, you know, put V and I maybe to start, because then I'll have EW there. And I may even just start with the I, because the E and the W are probably going to be just about as big as the VER over here for the review. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So let's go ahead and get this going. Right, my January in review is all stamped, and I was still feeling like it needed a little something, so I pulled out a blue pen here, and I think all I'm going to do is go and kind of give this a little shadowing. So top and right side is kind of what I'm thinking, and I'm just doing this. It's not going to be, you know, perfect or anything. Right side, top. But I just want something to kind of make it stand out just a little bit. And that's not what I wanted to do. All right. So now I have that nice and outlined, and I think that'll give that a little bit of pop, which I like. Now we have to figure out these things. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to add a little bit of distress on these as well. But I'm going to use, I think for this, I'm going to try to use something a little lighter than the vintage photo. So I think I have gathered twigs in here somewhere, or frayed burlap. Actually, I might use, I think I have antique linen. I think I'll use that for this distress on the bluer pieces. So take that off. I have my little change out fuzzy things here. Stampers, I don't know what you call them. But I hadn't distressed this either. So I'm just going to, actually maybe I'll just, for this one, it'd be easier just to kind of give it a little bit of a rub. And then let's see if we can do, and once again, I'm just trying to take the white off of there a little bit around the edges. And this one, I don't think I want it to be too dark. Oops, I forgot these. I need to do do my little corners here too. All right. Okay, so I got my corners and I have my ticket here. So I think I'm going to try and glue these down first and see what happens. So I'm going to use my glitter glue again, and I want to be sure that when I'm doing this, I try to keep it as much just on the very edges as I can, so I have plenty of room to slide my card in. So I'm going to be very careful and just keep these edges like that. Hopefully I got that right. And this one, I'm going to put as much to the edge as I can. And I'm going to do the same with the other one. So I'm going to, and this one I am going to kind of put a little bit more into the corner, into the crease here, which I just told you not to do. But I'm not going to have room to put my card in if I don't do this. So I tell you the rules, but the rules are made to be broken, I think. Oops, I'm going to move this up just a little bit so that it's kind of even. Okay, so now I should have, I'll just leave that open, a little pocket, and maybe I'll wait to put this in too much, and really after I write in it, you know, I'm not going to be pulling it in and out all the time. I mean, when I go back to, whoops, I have it upside down. When I go back to, you know, take a look at what I wrote, I'll pull it out, but you know, it's basically just going to stay in there. So I do really like the way that that turned out, so that I can still, you know, see my picture, but then I can also, you know, do my writing on there as well. So I'm going to leave that out until we get everything else glued down, but I am going to go ahead and glue this down as well. And this is definitely a simple wrap up, a simple, you know, whoops, January in review, but I'm okay with that. Sometimes you need, you know, something a little less. Sometimes you don't have time. Sometimes you aren't feeling, you know, so creative or something. Now, I probably will just take a look through my ephemera holder to see if I can find, you know, a couple of pieces that might look fun on here. So I don't know, a stamp maybe, or a ticket maybe. That might be fun. And actually, I think some of my tickets, they say something about the inauguration, and we had the inauguration here in the United States in January. So I don't know, it might not be the right color though. Not that it has to be a certain color. I don't know where all I have tickets everywhere. Tickets everywhere, which I love. I love tickets. Okay, so this one I think would be fun, actually, because it does say Counting the vote for president and vice president. Wow, that's very telling for this, what we've been going through the last couple months here in the U.S. And I have another blue here. I'm feeling like the one for the inauguration was probably an orange or a yellow, which might be kind of fun. Oh, look, we can do the impeachment of the president. Also telling. Actually, I might put that on because that'd be something to remember for sure. The crazy things that have been going on here in the U.S. Okay, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave those two out. I'm not sure where I'm going to put them. I wanted to get something a little bit small. This might be too big, but I kind of like that one there. And then maybe later, maybe what I'll do is I'll just kind of put this aside for now. But maybe later I might try to find maybe a little quote or just some words that I could put in here or up here, just kind of as another, you know, way to sort of fill in this collage. But I do like, let me get my vintage photo back out. But I do like this one. I think this is, and I like the contrast of this color. So I was going to do, you know, blue, but I kind of really like the contrast of this color. And what I might do is I'm going to take my scissors and just cut a little bit off here so that it doesn't overlap on the corner there. I didn't do a great job of that, but let's see if I can. Yeah, kind of like that. All right, and we'll put that in here. I'm trying not to let it go above the top of the paper, but okay, so that's good. And like I said, I may try to find, you know, some words or something to go in here, but I pretty much like the way that looks as a starting point. Okay, let's get started on my February cover page. So I thought what I would do is I would use, I was thinking about using an old postcard from my Letters from Verona add-on kit, just as a, you know, central picture. I usually like to choose a quote or something to go on my cover page. And I found one that, that I totally love. And I'm not a big flowery romance girly girl kind of girl, but when I saw this quote, I thought it was good. It says, "To love is risky and not to love is foolish." And it was credited to Maxime Lagacé, and I wasn't sure who that was. And when I looked it up, he is a hockey player who is on the Pittsburgh Penguins. And I'm not sure, you know, I mean, I just Googled this, so I'm not sure that this is actually his quote. I tried to find, I did find it in one other place, so I'm thinking that it probably is his. And I love it. And we love the Penguins. My daughter is a huge hockey fan, so is my husband. And so having a Pittsburgh Penguin hockey quote for February, which we're, you know, getting into the season here now, I thought this would be perfect. So that's what I'm going to use for my quote. And I'll probably stamp that somewhere. And then the other thing I'm going to do is I think I'm going to make a little February, probably with the same stamps I used here, make a little February cover kind of page here. And then we'll, like I said, probably put one of these on. I think I'm going to do the best wishes here. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this out. I'm going to round the corners a little bit. And I love this corner rounder. I don't even know if they sell it anymore, but it's a Becky Higgins corner rounder for Project Life things. But I love it because it has 3 different shapes for corner rounds that you can use. I love that. So, all right, we're just doing the little one there. I'm probably going to use this as my cover, and I think I'm going to mat that. So I think I'm going to take another piece of paper here and just, you know, once I get it stamped, I'm going to cut it down a little bit, and then I'm going to add maybe this paper as a mat, just so it'll kind of pop out from the page here a little bit. So let me go ahead and do this stamping, and we'll do kind of the same thing. I have my word February here that I can follow. If I start with my middle letter, which this is also an even number of letters in this word. So R and U are the center. So that's what I'll start with. And I think I'm going to use the same coffee color here. So we need R and U. Where's my acrylic? Okay, I cut out my postcard, I stamped my stamps, and I tried to just cut them down, you know, so that they were a little bit smaller, because I do, like I said, I do want to mat them, I think, on this paper. So all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to, what am I going to do here? I'm going to cut out some of this middle section of this paper so that I can create a nice little mat for these. So I'm going to try and give myself as much room as I can. So when I put them on, you know, I have a nice room to mat. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to do both of these in the same way. So I'll glue one down, I'll glue them both down, and then cut them out along the edges there. And when I glue these down, I'm just going to, for the side and the top, I'm going to make sure I have, you know, basically the distance that I want there, so that I can not waste a lot of paper. I mean, I'm going to be wasting a little. That's how it goes. Okay, so then this one I'm just going to put down here, and I may have to cut off a little bit more of this one, but just going to go ahead and get them glued down. And I really need to get a new pin for my cap there. Okay. So first, let's kind of take this down. It's a little small on the edge there, but that's okay. All right, yeah, I like the way that looks. So now this one, I think I glued it on a little crooked or something here. Let's see if I can maybe match it up. There we go. Okay. So now I have my quote. I have my postcard, and maybe even, I might put this on top of that. Yeah, and I may cover up my best wishes. So, because I like the roses there, and I think I want this on top. So, once again, let's just glue everything down, see where we're at. Okay, I'd say we're pretty much done. I think the last thing I want to do is add these stamps. I had a couple little stamps from my kit that I thought might be fun, just to break up sort of the, you know, how symmetrical this looks. So I'm just going to put a couple of these on there just to add a little interest, something to add to the collage there. And I love stamps. I always think they look so neat with the canceled marks on them and everything. All right, so there we go. There's my February cover page and my January in review. I will probably add some more to this as I go. I think that's part of the fun about these junk journal planners, is that, you know, when you work on it, it doesn't ever have to be sort of a finished thing. You can go back and add things to it and, you know, just keep whatever inspires you that day, you know, keep adding on to it. I think that's so much fun. So here we go, friends. This is my January in review and February cover page. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And if you aren't subscribed to my channel, if you could hit that subscribe button, then you'll be notified of any new videos I have. And I try to put them out once a week. Thanks so much for watching, friends. I hope that you have a great week, and I will see you in the next video.